In 1941, I was an Italian soldier sent to fight in North Africa. We were part of the Axis forces, alongside the Germans, and our mission was to capture the port city of Tobruk from the British. Tobruk was important because it was a key supply port. If we could take it, we would control the supply lines in the region. We arrived at Tobruk on April 10, 1941. The city was well defended by British and Commonwealth soldiers. They had dug deep trenches and built strong bunkers. The desert around Tobruk was harsh and unforgiving, with burning heat during the day and freezing cold at night. The Siege of Tobruk began. We surrounded the city and tried to break through the British defenses. Every day, we attacked their positions, but they fought back fiercely. The British had strong artillery and tanks, making it difficult for us to advance. Life during the siege was tough. We lived in makeshift camps in the desert, with little shelter from the sun and wind. Water was scarce, and we often went without enough food. The desert was full of dangerous scorpions, snakes, and constant dust storms that made it hard to see and breathe. One morning, we launched a major assault on Tobruk. The noise was deafening as our tanks and artillery opened fire. We charged towards the British lines, but their defenses were strong. Machine gun fire and explosions were everywhere. Many of my comrades fell, wounded or killed. During one attack, I found myself in close combat with British soldiers. We fought fiercely, using rifles and bayonets. The fighting was intense and brutal. I saw friends fall beside me, but we kept pushing forward. The British soldiers were determined, and it felt like an endless struggle. Weeks turned into months, and still we could not break through. The siege dragged on, and we grew weary and disheartened. The British inside Tobruk were running low on supplies, but they held their ground. We faced constant attacks from their artillery and aircraft. In the middle of the siege, we received reinforcements and supplies from our German allies, led by General Rommel. This gave us a boost of hope. We launched several more attacks, but each time the British pushed us back. The fighting was fierce, and the losses were heavy on both sides. One night, the British launched a surprise attack on our positions. They managed to break through our lines and cause chaos in our camp. We fought back desperately, trying to hold our ground. It was a terrifying night, full of confusion and fear. By morning, we had managed to push them back, but the damage was done. Finally, in November 1941, the Siege of Tobruk ended. Allied forces launched Operation Crusader, breaking through our lines and forcing us to retreat. The British had held Tobruk for over 7 months, and we had failed to capture it. As we retreated, I thought about the long siege. We had fought bravely and endured many hardships, but the British had been too strong. The Siege of Tobruk was a brutal and exhausting experience, one that showed the strength and determination of both sides. Years later, I still remember the Siege of Tobruk. The heat of the desert, the constant danger, and the comrades I fought alongside. It was a difficult time, full of fear and courage. The Battle of Tobruk was a defining moment in my life as a soldier, a time of great struggle and great bravery.